So I was just in the theater to see Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and I wanted to let you know what I think about it. I just saw it a couple of hours ago with one of my friends, and it's pretty late at night right now, but I really wanted to talk about this movie while it's still fresh in my mind. I'm gonna keep the first part completely spoiler-free, and then at the end of the video I'll warn you, then I'll talk about some of the spoilers. And this video is completely unscripted. It's just what's on my mind right now. I guess the first question is, did I like this movie? Yeah, I did. It was good. I wouldn't say it was a really great movie. It was just good. It's not bad either. It's just somewhere in between. And I'm gonna explain why. In 2005, when Episode 3 came out, I really thought that would be the last Star Wars movie ever. I mean, Episode 3 led up to Episode 4. We have come full circle now. That would be the end. And then 10 years later, Episode 7 came when Disney bought Lucasfilm. And I was really hyped when Episode 7 came out. I probably saw the trailer every day up until the premiere. And I actually shed a tear in the theater when the Star Wars logo came on screen. I mean, holy shit, I was watching a new Star Wars movie. This is incredible. And I really loved that movie, even though it rehashed a lot of the things from Episode 4. I didn't mind too much that it didn't bring me anything new that I hadn't seen before, because I was just so thrilled to see another Star Wars movie and to see my favorite characters return to the screen. But now Disney is releasing a Star Wars movie every year, so it's really hard to be hyped, I think. Me and my friend I just saw the movie with were debating his biggest fear was that they would be rehashing a lot of things from Empire Strikes Back, just like Episode 7 was just like A New Hope. But no, it wasn't completely like that, but I will say that they rehashed a lot of stuff from Empire Strikes Back and also from Return of the Jedi. It's really disappointing for me to say that this movie is just okay, but unfortunately that's how it is. I didn't feel like this movie brought me anything new that I hadn't seen before. Even though it's hard to admit, we didn't even need new Star Wars movies. I mean, Episode 6 ended with Darth Vader is dead, the Emperor is dead, and there's peace in the galaxy. There's no Empire anymore. But somehow we got a new Emperor. He just came out of nowhere, and we got a new Empire called the First Order, and a new Darth Vader in a mask. And yeah, I really want to talk about some specific stuff. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, then stop this video now, because I'll probably get into some spoilers now. I think there was a lot of great action in this movie. I really enjoyed the lightsaber battles, especially the one with Rey and Kylo Ren in the Emperor's room. And there was a lot of great battle scenes in space. You're not bored at any time in this movie. The thing I was looking forward to the most was probably to see Rey's encounter with Luke Skywalker. And that was amazing. And it was nice to finally have him speak. And it's probably the first time that I see Mark Hamill on the big screen since Return of the Jedi. It was so cool to see him back in the role as Luke Skywalker. And there were some really intense scenes between Luke, Rey, and Kylo Ren. And I really like that you're in doubt whether Rey is drawn to the light side or the dark side. I was really disappointed though that Kylo Ren didn't really have, in Force Awakens he had a really badass role. He was really intimidating, and he was kind of a wimp in this movie. And even Emperor Snow called him, a silly little child with a mask on playing Darth Vader. It was kind of disappointing that he wasn't really badass in this movie. Episode 7 had a lot of practical effects. J.J. Abrams wanted to capture the same atmosphere as the old trilogy, but this movie didn't really have a lot of practical effects. I think it was mostly just CGI, CGI characters everywhere. Yoda made an appearance, and that was pretty cool, but it really bothered me that he was all CGI. I mean, me and my friend were joking that he looked like a character from Clone Wars. He didn't really look great, and he was just standing and talking, so why couldn't he have been a puppet? I don't know, but it was pretty cool that he was voiced by Frank Oz, who also voiced Yoda in the other movies. And I guess the worst part with CGI was, you know, the horse-looking things running through the city. It was a mess to look at, I think. It looked like a cutscene from a video game. The best part about the CGI was Emperor Snoke. I mean, he looked amazing. And he was motion captured and voiced by the great Andy Serkis, the master of motion capture. I mean, he was up close to the camera and he looked totally believable. I mean, his skin texture, his eyes, his lip movement, it looked so authentic to me. And it's probably the best looking CGI character that I've seen since Gollum or Caesar in Planet of the Apes. And all those characters were motion captured by Andy Serkis, actually. And I gotta say, there were some really weird moments in this movie, like Luke milking a giant dragon creature or something. You saw some very big tits on that creature, and Luke were milking it, and you really saw, you know, a giant nibble up close, and then he was just drinking casually the milk. I really don't know what to think about that moment. I'm sure it's gonna be an internet meme later on. In the trailer, you see that weird Furby-looking creature, and there's a lot of those creatures in the movie. Apparently, they live on that island where Luke stays, and I guess there's supposed to be some kind of comic relief. And no, they were just weird. Probably my favorite scene in this movie was when Rey had to meet the Emperor with Kylo Ren. But it was pretty much like the scene from Return of the Jedi, you know, when Luke has to meet the Emperor and he's with Darth Vader. And the scene pretty much unfolds exactly like the scene in the Return of the Jedi. I mean, the Emperor is trying to convince Rey to join the dark side, and Kylo Ren is in doubt about his, you know, emotions, just like Darth Vader was. And eventually Kylo Ren kills off the Emperor, just like Darth Vader killed off the Emperor in Return of the Jedi. So it's pretty weird that they're just doing all the same stuff over and over again. And me and my friend were joking that they also had the Hoth scene, like in the beginning of Empire Strikes Back. You know, see the rebel base getting attacked by AT and ATs and on a snow planet like on Hoth. But we didn't get that in the beginning, but we actually got some sort of Hoth scene at the end of the movie. We see the rebel base getting attacked by not the Empire, but the First Order. And we see AT and ATs attacking the rebel base. So it was pretty much just like the Hoth scene. It was even on a white planet, but it wasn't snow, it was salt. How do I know that? Because one of the soldiers tastes the ground and says, salt. And that's one of the other things I wanted to talk about. When I saw the trailer for The Force Awakens, we see the desert planet, and I was completely convinced that that would be Tatooine. But no, instead we got some new planet called Jakku. And in Rogue One, we got introduced to something like 12 planets or something, most of them completely new. And in this movie, we get a lot of new planets too. But why don't we get any of the planets that we already know? I mean, Tatooine was pretty much the main planet in the old trilogy, but it's not even mentioned in the new movies. Why is that? I don't know. And it seems like Disney is completely ignoring the prequels. I know they're not very popular. I like them actually, except for episode 1. But there's a lot of planets from the prequels. I mean, I'm really glad that Jar Jar Binks is not in this movie. But you could just avoid the Gungans and just have, you know, the planet Naboo. Or Mustafar, that was an awesome planet. Or Geonosis. I mean, just any of the planets we know. Why aren't they in the new Star Wars movies? We only got Yavin 4 briefly in Rogue One. But other than that, I think all of the planets and all the locations are completely new. So I want to talk about the ending real quick. I was really bummed out when Han Solo died in episode 7. I mean, he was my favorite character from that movie. It was so great to see Han Solo back in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. In this movie, Luke Skywalker dies at the end. So that sucked. I mean, I've been waiting to see him on screen ever since the cliffhanger in episode 7. And well, we got a lot of great scenes with Luke Skywalker, but he dies. And I'm just wondering, he was the last Jedi, and well, Rey hasn't been trained yet, so who's gonna train Rey now? There's no Jedi left, and the holy Jedi books in the temple got burned, so how's she gonna become a Jedi now? I don't know. And we didn't get to know who Rey's parents are. And that was one of the mysteries too in episode 7, so I don't know, maybe we get the answer in episode 9. And I'm really wondering what they're gonna do about Leia, because the person playing Leia, Carrie Fisher, died last year. So obviously she can't be in episode 9 unless they're gonna do some kind of CGI face. It's actually quite sad that we just lost Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and obviously Carrie Fisher as Leia. So I wonder what they're gonna do for episode 9, because she doesn't die in episode 8. She still lives, and she has a huge role. So yeah, that's it. That's all my thoughts right now about episode 8. I would like to know what you think about it, or if you've seen the movie yet, so let me know in the comment section. I'll see ya.